back in the Hoosier State as fans have once again swarmed downtown Indianapolis for round 19 of Monster Jam with Stadium Championship Series East. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monster Jam Primetime. I'm Scott Jordan alongside Adam Enticknap coming into Indianapolis. All the momentum was riding with Zombies, Barton with Sour, but Tyler Menega does what he always does in Indy, and that's when he got it done in freestyle, wins his 5th straight overall event championship at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, Scott, it's amazing how good Tyler Menega is when the truck allows him to be, but it's really a team effort between him and Matt Gaughan. If they can get the truck working together, man, he's just unbeatable. The momentum he has in Indianapolis is truly unmatched.
Cynthia Gauthier earned her first career stadium racing win last round, giving Lucas Stabilizer a win at the home of Lucas Oil. Now, throughout her career, Cynthia has been primarily known as more of a freestyle driver. What did you attribute to her win in racing at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Well, one of the big things is she was just so cool, calm, and collected. She was hitting the turns very smooth. She was a little slower coming into them, but she knew exactly the moment to hit the throttle coming out. It just looked like she was so comfortable in this stadium. You can see the logo on the side of her truck. This is home.
Let's hear from the former World Finals high jump champion who's with Leslie Mears in this Northern Tool and Equipment pit report.
So, guys, she was out of the seat for a year and then it came back. So talk about the learning curve, Cynthia, of being out, coming back in. Was it like ride a bike where it all came back, or was it a little different because you're on a completely different track than you were on before, too?
I really had I thought it would really be like bicycle. I would come back, everything would be just the same, but it was not. I had a hard first start. It took me a little bit to get used to the truck again. But I feel like every weekend my racing was getting better and better, faster. I was getting by run. Last night did not get the by run, but I still won each, race, and it was awesome.
It was, and we got to talk about your freestyles have come back a lot quicker, too, than the racing. And so we know that the track was a little challenging last night. Okay, so what do we got going into today to make a better effort here for freestyle, knowing track conditions?
So this track is a little bit tricky. I mean, you don't have a lot of big jumps, so you have to make the most of it. So I think throwing some skill, maybe some wheelie, snap wheelie, and maybe do some bicycle, I think it's the key on this track. And maybe try to find the biggest jump out there and just go for it. I think that's going to be my goal tonight. Last night did not succeed the backflip, and I think you have to succeed the backflip to win. So I'm ready to get a wow moment, do that backflip, and throw some tricks out there.
Very confident Cynthia Gauthier. Here's who she's competing against tonight in Indianapolis. Barton Musauer, Dalton White, Armando Castro, all with solid showings last round here in Indy, Adam.
Yeah, Cynthia Gauthier is one of the drivers that I'm looking at tonight. She has that target on the side of her truck, and Tyler Menega needs to get those points and continue his streak forward.
Been able to do it, trying to keep that Indianapolis streak alive. Let's take a look at the current season point standings on Stadium Series East. Zombie with a 22-point lead over Gravedigger. Classroom Crusher in 3rd, Jurassic Attack in 4th, and El Toro Loco in 5th. Tyler Menega was able to gain a few points back on Barton Musauer. Drivers will compete tonight in 3 competitions: JCB Racing, the Skills Challenge, and Freestyle. Points are awarded based on fitness, with 12 going to the winner of each competition. And the driver with the most points at the end of the event is crowned overall event champion. It's time for Track Talk. After 1 round on this track, have drivers figured it out in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think they have, but there's going to be some situations tonight that are different. The track is going to be more dry. This is night 2, which kind of always happens. But one of the big things is that in that berm in the first turn, you're going to have to watch out for those ruts. It's going to be very difficult, as well as freestyle. There's going to be some ruts on the faces that are going to take your truck left and right. You have to watch out for that.
First competition tonight is JCB Racing. Let's take a look at our bracket. See the round 1 matchups there in round 2. Classroom Crusher, Jurassic Attack, Gravedigger, and Lucas Stabilizer. What do you like about this racing bracket, Adam?
Well, I'm actually looking a little bit into the future between that Zombie and Lucas Stabilizer matchup. Cynthia has been red hot, but Bari is 9-9 in his career. It's going to be a tough race.
Let's head to the track at Lucas Oil Stadium. Up first, Joe Foley and Axe against Jim Kohler and Avenger. And with Joe's thoughts on racing, Jim, we go to Leslie Mears.
Joe's record is not that great against Jim, and he said, oh my God, she's just so fast. I said, well, how are you going to get around him since he whoops you all the time? He said, I'm just going to have to lock it down and not lift.
All right, thank you, Leslie. And notoriously, Jim Kohler has bested his protege, Joe Foley. He's doing it right now. Final turn, Avenger. Get across. Joe Foley made it close. We're going to go to the original super glue, glued to the action replay. What a finish.
First race of the night, and I can't tell who got this one. It looks like Jim Kohler.
19.706 advances Avenger. Colt Stevens, Thunderoris up next. And he's going to go up against Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, two-time World Finals champions. Into the berm we go. Blue lane, El Toro Loco. Gray lane, Thunder Roars. Right now it is El Toro Loco all over Colt Stevens.
El Toro Loco goes a little wide in that second corner. Bad apex coming out of the first one.
Long straightaway here. Both drivers hit the turn at the same time. Armando Castro goes deep. That's going to be the difference. He straightens up the
Colt Stevens rolling
over. So Thunder Roars on a turn, a fall down there on the corner, coming out of that into the straightaway. Thunder Roars goes over. Here's the replay.
Yeah, he just comes out of that corner, gets a little sideways, lets off the throttle, tries to correct, comes up short on the finish line.
Absolute thunderous roll there. Mike Christensen, Vendetta, going up against Kevin Crocker and Megalodon. Mike 1-0 against Kevin this season. Here we go. We get a green light. Vendetta off the starting line first into the berm. Mike Christensen has Vendetta out in front into that blue corner.
Looks like Kevin Crocker goes wide in turn 1 and turn 2. Mike Christensen looking solid coming down the straightaway.
Track so far being one of the turns. Mike Christensen gets around the turning pod, comes up over the backside of the berm, and Vendetta gets across the finish line. Nice win for Mike. Here is the original Super Glue. Glued to the action replay.
Well, we check out Kevin Crocker coming into this last corner. It's definitely slick on the gray lane side. It's going to be tough tonight.
So Vendetta moving on here. We continue JCB Racing round 1. Megalodon getting up over that car stack. Can't quite get the finish going. Chris Kohler in mayhem, former Rookie of the Year against another former Rookie of the Year. Zombies Barry Musauer. Barry 29-12 with 4 wins on the racing season. Chris Kohler making it interesting on that gray side berm. Barry Musauer hits the corner first.
Looks like Chris Kohler just takes that first turn a little too tight, pushes wide. Barry Musauer with the advantage.
Zombie with the lead here, going that final push across the backside berm. Blue lane finish for Zombie. And Barry Musauer moving on. Take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Yeah, we're going to watch Chris Kohler. He just enters turn 1 a little tight, making him have to go wide in this corner. Grabs the pod a little bit as well, but that's where he lost the time.
We're going to check out our bracket, moving into JCB Racing round 2. Classroom Crusher, Avenger, Jurassic Attack, El Toro Loco, Gravedigger, Vendetta, Lucas Stabilizer, Zombie. Zombie with the fastest time, 19.582. Coming up, Tyler Mega's quest for another event championship begins with round 2 of JCB Racing next on Primetime. Monster Jam is brought to you by JCB, the official heavy equipment partner of Monster Jam. We are back with more JCB Racing in Indianapolis. It's round 19 at Lucas Oil Stadium. And up first in round 2, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher against Jim Kohler in Avenger. They have split the series so far this year, 1-1, both with great starts off the chalk line. Camden Murphy, better angle out of that blue side berm. And now Camden Murphy has the lead.
Camden Murphy executing perfectly. It looks like Jim Kohler has to go over that pod there on that side.
Jim ended up on 2 wheels, not where you want to be, especially against a seasoned racer like Camden Murphy. And Avenger will finish. Classroom Crusher gets the win. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
The gray lane side is definitely very tough. It looks like he catches the front side of that tabletop. A little bit too tight of a turn. Unfortunate.
Fastest time of the night so far for Camden Murphy. Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco. Dalton looking for his 4th racing win on the season. Nice start there for Jurassic Attack. Armando Castro, far side gray lane, trying to play catch up here. Dalton Widener to that straightaway first.
Armando Castro being so patient, he could make the gray lane work, Scott.
And he's taking that corner tight. That could be the difference on the finish line. And we are going to once again go to the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Looks like Dalton Widener is just going to exit a little too wide. And that's going to be that 1/10 of a second that he needed right here at the finish line. Armando Castro comes away with a win.
19.529. That final corner was the difference. Mike Christensen, Vendetta advancing from round 1. Tyler Menega, Gravedigger. Up next, 31-9 is the record for Tyler Menega. 2 of those wins against Mike Christensen. Check out the lane for Gravedigger. Absolutely nailing it on rails right now.
Mike Christian definitely at a disadvantage in that gray lane. It's coming down to the last corner.
Into that final turn, Gravedigger spins it around up over the backside of the blue lane. Vendetta, all kinds of problems on the far side of the track. Opens up the window, Gravedigger advancing. Check out the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Yeah, that last corner on the gray lane is giving drivers fits. You can see he gets on the throttle just a little too early and slides out.
5-second penalty there on Vendetta for not getting those front 2 BKT tires across the finish line. Up next, Zombies Bar and Musauer, Cynthia Gauthier, Lucas Stabilizer. With more on this race, let's check in with Leslie Mears.
Guys, Cynthia's using all the tricks in her bag. After introductions, she went back to the pits, found out that she does not have first gear, so she stayed in the right lane, which is the more steady lane right now to try to give herself any advantage she could over Zombie.
So far paying off. Look at the corner there for Lucas Stabilizer. Cynthia Gauthier continues her hot streak, and she defeats Bar and Musauer.
Cynthia Gauthier is absolutely on fire. You can see she grabs the pod, turns tight. She's able to get away with that this time, but she's definitely going to have to be very, very careful in these next and final rounds.
Lucas Stabilizer looking strong so far once again at Lucas Oil Stadium. Let's check out the semifinal bracket for JCB Racing. Classroom Crusher meets El Toro Loco. Gravedigger meets Lucas Stabilizer. Fastest top of the night so far. Last round, Classroom Crusher 19.300. Will Cynthia Gauthier's red-hot racing streak continue? Find out next when Monster Jam Primetime returns. Monster Jam is brought to you by the Utah Sports Commission. Utah, the state of sport. Salt Lake City, Utah is the home of Monster Jam World Finals 24, but tonight's home for round 19, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Up first in the semis, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco with an update on the track. Let's hear from our pit reporter, Leslie Mears.
Quick update on track conditions. The eye in the sky saw that left lane was really washed out, so they brought the dirt crew out here to really work on that turn, fill in some of those ruts, track it in to try to help make the lanes more consistent and even.
Thank you, Lizzie. Competitive race so far. Final quarter, Camden Murphy goes out wide. He's able to recover and get the win. Somehow goes from the far side of that turn all the way back to the finish line.
Yeah, you can see Camden Murphy comes in this corner, pushes a little bit wide, but there's so much traction going on with that right front wheel off the ground. Camden Murphy, great execution, and comes away with a win.
Flips the pod as well, still able to make it happen. Tyler Mediga, Gravedigger, Cynthia Gauthier, Lucas Stabilizer. Tyler 11-2 in his career now in Indianapolis. Here we go outside of the berm. It is Gravedigger out first and into the blue side corner.
Looks like Cynthia grabbed the pod coming out of turn one. That's going to make it difficult.
You can't give Tyler Mediga any room at all. He has got this corner. He knows it as well. Take a look at the angle. Cynthia spins out, and Gravedigger gets the win. Here's the original super glue glued to the action replay.
You can see Cynthia right here. She gets up on two, grabs those ruts in the first berm, and then grabs the pod on the exit, pushing her wide. But some problems for Tyler Menninga. You can see he goes wide. That rear steer not working like he wants it to.
Well, he is going to the finals. He will meet Camden Murphy via Classroom Crusher against Gravedigger. Fastest top of the night last round. Camden Murphy 19.269. He gets lane choice, and he is going to stay on the blue side. What do you think about that decision, Adam?
I think it's a great decision. The blue side has a much more traction. Here we go.
Camden Murphy 23-13 on the year. He's out of the
Murphy
goes
on
bicycle. He is onto the tabletop and off of the racetrack. Tyler Menninga with a clear shot at a win right now.
The possible rear steer issues for Tyler Menninga does not matter. Camden Murphy gets up on two and gives away a huge win.
So Tyler Menninga taking advantage of a rare misstep from Camden Murphy. 20.066 gets it done. The original super glue glued to the action replay.
Same thing that happened to Cynthia. You can see grabs the ruts on the exit, gets up on two wheels. Nice job making the save, but has to shut it down.
And he picked that lane. It cost him the win. Tyler picks up his 8th racing win of the season, and a momentum swing continuing for Gravedigger. Let's hear from our champion and Leslie.
Two big questions for you. One, I know you were changing the way that you were maneuvering that rear steer toggle. Did that make a difference for you?
Yeah, you know what, actually, when I raced Cynthia, I went into the last corner and the rear steer did not even work. So luckily she messed up even more than I did. I was able to get to the final, and you know what? I didn't have lane choice. I'm not in the lane I wanted to be, but Camden messed up more than I did, and we got a crucial 5 points on Barry here in the racing competition.
And that's what I'm talking about, is this is big for you. You know, is this going to be the night that you're going to make a run? You've already talked about how this dirt is really suited for your skills.
Yeah, you know what, 26 points at the end of the day when we started Indianapolis is really not that much, but it is when you're having truck problems, and we still are. The best we can do is just come out here and drive a broken truck to the best of my abilities, but as of right now, this Gravedigger freight train ain't stopping. We're running everybody over out here today.
Tyler Menega never one to mince his words there. Gets 12 points with that win. He's got 12 at the top of the BKT overall event leaderboard. Classroom Crusher with 11. El Toro Loco with 10. Lucas Stabilizer with 9. And Jurassic Attack with 8 points. That rounds out our current top 5. Next up in Indy was the Monster Jam Skills Challenge. Drivers could attempt 2 technical maneuvers on 2 wheels so they could do a donut. And each driver was scored equally by an expert judge and fans on creativity, skill, and execution. With 12 points on the line, here's your top 5. And coming in 5th, a zombie donut from Bari Musawi.
Yeah, this has been his go-to, but it looks like we got a rear tire locked up. Possible inner-outer axle problems. Hopefully we can get that fixed.
Coming in 5th, Chris Kohler off the trench box.
Gonna balance the 12,000-pound truck. Looks like we get a little combination move, working the rear steer. Gonna walk this thing out with a nose with another combination, pops it back up, gets a little moonwalk.
In 3rd place, Armando Castro, Toro Loco comes out with the popper nose wheelie moonwalk combo.
Armando, one of the best at this competition. Gonna walk it up the backside of this tabletop. Let's see if he can flick it down into a wheelie, and he gets it.
Taking 2nd place, popper for Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher.
Great job, great use of a different obstacle. Walks it back, bounces the truck. The level of difficulty on that is amazing. And then Camden Murphy continuing there. Great job.
And taking the win, Tyler Menega, Gravedigger going for the bicycle onto the sidewalls.
Typical Tyler move, one side to the other. Great execution and comes away with a win.
12 more points go to Gravedigger. We're going to check out our BKT point standings after 2:24 for Tyler Menega. Classroom Crusher 2 points off. El Toro Loco 4 back. Zombie 9 off the pace, and Jurassic Attack in the top 5. Tyler earns his 5th skills win of the season. Let's once again join our winner with Leslie Mears.
Skills was wild tonight. There was a lot that went on out there. You went into that final maneuver. Were you worried about upsetting it and maybe having a chance to not come back for freestyle?
Not at all. You know what? That trick is a really easy maneuver on the truck, even when it fails. I wish I would have got that back. I was crossing my fingers on the inside, but you know what? This dirt just doesn't have enough bite this weekend, and you know what? It doesn't matter. Like I told you earlier, this freight train ain't stopping.
Tyler Menega has won it all, but will it finally lead to a perfect event for Gravedigger? You can find out with freestyle next on Primetime. Monster Jam is proud to partner with and support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit monsterjam.com/St. Jude to learn how you can join us in the fight against childhood cancer. We are back in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium for round 19 with Stadium Championship Series East, and we are back in the Primetime studio. Tyler Menega continues his reign of terror at Lucas Oil Stadium, winning both competitions. He looks ready to finish this one off and claim his 6th straight event win at Indy.
Yeah, this is the best we've seen Tyler Menega since the first weekend. But one thing I'm hearing and seeing from Tyler is that he's okay with all of these truck problems. He's just driving the truck no matter what is happening. He doesn't care if there's rear steer, front steer, what issue it is. He's going past that, and that has really been the difference for Tyler Menega.
Another driver having a stellar night is Camden Murphy. He's got 2 second-place finishes so far, putting Classroom Crusher in a great spot for the event championship. What can Camden do to come from behind, take over the Gravedigger lead, and get the win?
Well, one of the big things is he has to execute on that backflip. He had a slight mishap at our last event. He did not get that backflip. If he can get the perfect rotation on the backflip, that is going to be key to a huge freestyle and that top score that he's looking for.
Let's catch up with the current BKT overall point standings after 2 competitions. Perfect 9th thus far for Gravedigger, 24 points. Classroom Crusher at 22, El Toro Loco with 20, Zombie with 15, and Jurassic Attack with 14, 10 points off the pace. Speaking of Zombie, there's some action in the pits right now. Zombie is getting work done with an update. Let's go to Leslie Mears in this Northern Tool and Equipment pit report.
So it's a broken outer axle for a Zombie, but it's a little bit more than that too. There's something called a Rosetta coupler on the outside. And this piece right here, you can see that it's broke in the center. But there's also 5 round bearings that go around the outside, and they're held in with a cage. That cage shattered too. So what's happening now is they're actually trying to dig those little finite parts and pieces out. They've had a magnet in there. They've got to get them all out so that it can go back together. If they leave anything in there, it's just going to rub and grind, and it's going to cause further damage during freestyle. So it's a very delicate process, and the team is doing their best to make sure that they get all those broken parts out before they put the new ones in.
The Bar's crew chief Julie in there, Joe Foley as well, offering ham. Here's a freestyle order. Zombie will go 10th. Check out Camden Murphy at 5th and Classroom Crusher Gravedigger at 12th. Who do you like in this freestyle order?
I really like that number 5 spot of Classroom Crusher. Camden Murphy has a huge opportunity to watch a couple drivers and then go early enough to get a big score.
Few drivers didn't fill the clock. Last round scoring was a bit low when it comes to fan scoring in Indianapolis, and the expert judge up first out of Columbus, Michigan, Chris Kohler in mayhem. Chris got some advice for this freestyle run. Let's go to Leslie.
Last event, we had a very special guest here. Tom Mentz was actually in the house, and while the professor was here, he was definitely taking notes. He talked to Chris Kohler after the event and said, hey, I don't want to get you while you're down, because he didn't fill his time. He said, but he goes, you got to remember as you're coming into those turns, go in a little slower, out a little hotter to gain that momentum. He said it'll help add some flow to your freestyle so that you can keep that momentum going and get more speed and air going up to your jumps.
You know, when it comes to advice, Adam, it's not a bad thing when you can go to the greatest of all time. As we take a look at the criteria, 30 seconds to qualify, failure to complete 1 minute takes a point off your score. But when you can get advice from the greatest to ever do it, that's got to be a nice pick-me-up.
Yeah, that is letting him know that Tom Mentz is out there watching him. He sees the talent that Chris Kohler has. I think everybody in Monster Jam sees that talent. But when you can get advice from a guy like Tom Mentz, you take it. He said go a little slower into the corners, come out a little harder on the throttle, just be nice and patient. If Chris Kohler can do that, man, he can get a great score.
Chris being patient here. Morgan backflip right out of the gate on the first run of the night. He goes sideways and lands it. Not a bad move, but he hits the container, and that is going to shut him off. Take a look at the original Super Glue, glued to the action replay.
He took an extra second to try to line it up, but you can see that backflip container just kind of pushes him off to the side. Unfortunately, going to blow out a tire and hit a container.
And tried to angle the truck there to keep his run going, gets the BKT tire shattered, and then hits that container. Joe Foley in Axe after helping out in the pits at halftime with Zombie. Now Joe back involved in freestyle behind the wheel of Axe. Freestyle Foley, so much was made, Adam, of the rise of Joe Foley in 2024. What have we seen out of Foley now in 25?
Well, we've definitely seen some highs and lows. He's been a lot more aggressive, but I think that has also been a little bit of a fault. So it's just so much learning. You have to know exactly when to be aggressive and when to be patient. And I think that's what we've seen from Joe Foley this season, is he's learning that, when to push the truck hard, when to kind of back off a little bit. Tonight, so far, it looks like the truck is settling well. The suspension looks good. After that first hit, he was very aggressive on the throttle. So that's telling me Joe is happy with the truck.
As you said, highs and lows for Joe Foley here. He went from leading the sport in stadium freestyle wins to having the 0 freestyle wins this year and the absolute lowest average on this series. So that is quite the fallback here from Joe Foley, but we know how great of a driver he is, and we know how great his freestyle runs can be.
Yeah, we really do. And I think, like I said, that comes from being a little overly aggressive and trying to push it to that next level. Sometimes you have to back it down just a little bit, because we know how good Joe Foley is. Or he comes up a little
right
short.
onto the berm. He's going to flip this thing over and lands the save. So Joe Foley so far, no, we're only 2 runs in, but that is the save of the night. And Joe Foley, it is not always easy to repeat success, especially at a high level, as he comes off the jammer into a slap wheelie combo. But Foley with a nice save there.
This is the run we have been looking for from Joe Foley. Looks like he's going to have to throw it in reverse here.
8.059 is the score to beat. We got body parts from Axe on the track. But right now, Joe Foley still on the move here. He's going to head over now to the Morgan backflip ramp, going from one side of the stadium to the other. Axe is lined up. Axe is ready to go. Axe comes in off the container, gets a nice push. Pogo bounce on the front 2 wheels. And he's going to try to save
on the sidewalls.
onto the sidewalls, just runs out of gas, and that'll do it for Joe Foley. Here's the original Super Glue, glued to the action replay.
Wow, talk about excitement from Joe Foley. You can see he comes up short here, goes head over heels, but gets the momentum in his favor, lands it back on all 4 BKTs. You can see the backflip container just gives him a weird push coming off of that side, makes him go a little bit low, Doesn't get the rotation that time, tries to pull it out on those two BKTs, but cannot do it.
We got a new leader. Freestyle Foley is back in Indianapolis, but will Axe hang on for the win? Find out when Freestyle continues next on Primetime. Welcome back to round 19 of Monster Jam. Today's festivities kicked off earlier at Lucas Oil Stadium, the most family-oriented pit party in motorsports. Fans arrive early to meet their favorite drivers, take pictures with the trucks, and if you want to attend the pit party at your next event, get your tickets at monsterjam.com. Moments ago, Freestyle continued. Megalodon hits the backflip ramp.
He's going to execute great on the backflip, but he goes over 2 minutes, and that will be a penalty.
7.919 was the score. Next up, Cynthia Gauthier. Lucas Stabilizer goes for the slap wheelie here.
Definitely frustrated for Cynthia. She's had so much momentum, but in Monster Jam, there is mechanicals, and things happen.
About 51 seconds on the clock, 6.337. Up next, out of Itasca, Illinois, Camden Murphy in Classroom Crusher. And he has got a shot here at the overall event championship. Either Tyler Menega still needs to go in freestyle, but Camden has set himself up nicely, comes into this competition 2 points off the event lead.
Well, not only does he set himself up nicely with the points, but he set himself up nicely with where he is going in this freestyle order. He has a huge opportunity right now. Joe Foley definitely set the stadium on fire, but there definitely was room for improvement for Camden Murphy. He's one of the guys that can always get it done at any given moment. Camden Murphy, one of the best drivers in Monster Jam.
He's been very consistent this year, 8.049 average, second on the series. That is only translated, though, to 1 win. Adam, how can you have the second highest average on the series and only have 1 freestyle victory?
Well, you know how you have that? You have Bari Musauer and Tyler Menninga in freestyle as well. Those drivers are truly unbelievable, and you really have to step it up and just be different in freestyle and get that little tiny edge. And a lot of the time for Camden Murphy, it's been hard to get past that next level. But here tonight, he's in the perfect spot, and he has the opportunity.
Finished 10th last round, starting to build some momentum here. Comes off the backside of the berm, continuing on east to west here on this track at Indianapolis. Now he's going to make the turn into the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramps. Got to hit the brakes, come back at the right angle. And now Camden Murphy has Classroom Crusher lined up precisely where he wants it. Classroom Crusher goes up, hits the brakes, and he's got time left on the clock. Where do you go from here?
Executes the backflip, gets a little turn, huge air for Classroom Crusher.
Is a full bounce. They are able to stay on all 4 BKT tires. That traction moving, the weight of the truck balanced perfectly by BKT. Brake check again, wheelie coming off that tabletop. Another brake check on the combo.
This is what we're looking for from Camden Murphy. Up on 2, he turns into it and makes the save.
So Camden Murphy gets the bicycle, trying to take the lead away from Axe. He is not done yet. Camden Murphy, listen to that throttle on Classroom Crusher, goes up again. This time another save for Camden Murphy. What a run. As the front clip is off, take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Wow, the excitement is in the air. Camden Murphy, he is going to sleep well tonight. He gets the backflip, executes there, but driving so aggressively. This is what we've wanted to see from Camden Murphy all season long. Look at the way he turns in to that bicycle right there. Great execution, gets it back on all 4 BKTs, and then a little bit of chaos here at the end of freestyle for Camden. I don't know how he ended up making this save. The truck awareness is incredible.
Classroom Crusher chaos. Camden Murphy up on the truck. They're letting him have it here, 9.398. So we got a new leader, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher. Out next, Jim Kohler in Avenger, representing Team Scream. Jim has never met a backflip ramp he doesn't like. You know, he doesn't obviously go for the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp, but he loves that 8-pack. He told me that himself. The 8-pack is where he likes to live. And with an update on Jim and those backflips, we go to Leslie.
Lots of information coming in today about those backflips. For Jim Kohler, it's all about that 8-pack. And so while it's inconsistent, he says for him, it's the wild, crazy wow factor that fits his styles of run. He said with this one in particular this weekend, he said you have to hit it a little softer. That way that you can continue your run and create those moments afterwards. He said he's hit it a little bit too hard all season long, and that's why we've seen it roost and really throw him up on top of the ramp.
Thank you, Leslie. 18th Indianapolis start for Jim Kohler. He started coming here back in 2009, one freestyle win in 2014. Did finish 6th last round. He went for the 8-pack. Adam in round 18 didn't land it. What can he do tonight to make sure he gets it?
Well, like Leslie talked about, he just has to hit it just a tiny bit softer. And what you're going to look for is he wants to come into the 8-pack just a little bit slower. If you come in a little too hot, it's going to jam those front tires and it's really going to pop them up and rotate that truck out of control. If he comes in a little slower and hits the throttle at the right time, he should execute that backflip and then be able to continue on to get another wow moment.
Jim Kohler hits the brakes here in Avenger. Now he's going to go in full reverse mode. So we saw something he didn't like, or he saw something he did like, and it is the 8-pack. So Jim Kohler demolishes the ramp, bounces on the front 2 tires, and lands the 8-pack. Perfect execution.
I mean, Jim Kohler is just an absolute genius when it comes to Monster Jam. I love how patient he was. He got the truck right, was a little slower into the 8-pack backflip, and that's about as good as you can get. But it looks like that left front tire is low.
That's going to do it. 3 wheels, 3 tires, not going to be enough for the run. Here's the original Super Glue glued to the action replay.
You can see he comes in a little slower. That bumper grabs the dirt, but no problems for Jim Kohler. A lot of flex going on in those BKTs. He gets a huge air right here at the end of the run. Looks like that's going to do it for that BKT. You can see right here, watch that right front tire. It's going to be just, or it's that left front tire. It's going to be a little low on that side, and that will end his run.
6 down, 6 to go in Indy. We continue on with freestyle. That's coming up next when Monster Jam Primetime returns. Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master. Crush it, crash it, jam it. During the break, freestyle continued in Indianapolis. As we continue on with round 19, was Mike Christensen in Vendetta. He would go for the backflip right here and land it.
Gonna get a good rotation on the backflip. A little bit of an underwhelming score.
And then Don Weiner goes for the same thing at Jurassic Attack.
Same thing as well here. Not the score that these drivers are looking for.
Next up, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, comes in with 1 freestyle win on the year. Back in San Diego, does have 3 Oval Event Championship wins, but another driver who had a solid event last round at round 18 here, but finished 9th in freestyle. So still a shot at the event championship here. Comes into the competition trailing the leader by 4. What does Armando need to do to correct anything that may have gone wrong for him in round 18?
Well, just go out there and carry that momentum. Armando Castro has been just getting better and better each round, and he's learning a lot. There's a lot to learn for Armando, and you can see him doing that. And I think that's the most important thing for him this season, is just continuing to learn from the mistakes that he's making and the underwhelming scores that he's getting in freestyle. He's getting better, but these big floors are different. Nice air from Armando right there. He's definitely gotten better and more comfortable. You can see it in his driving.
Yeah, track conditions not ideal right now with this dirt in Indianapolis. Just getting absolutely decimated. The faces of the ramp, the BKT tires hanging on, clinging to it, allowing the drivers to get the traction they need. But right now, Armando Castro going sideways across that tabletop onto the sidewalk here, and El Toro Loco makes the save.
Yeah, great truck awareness there. He turned into that sidewall bicycle and just made a huge save to be able to continue his run. Armando Castro definitely feeling it right now.
Out of Whittier, California, 2-time World Finals champion, going back to the triple threat competitions in 2019 in Speedsters, and then going back to the bank again to the top of the podium a year ago in the Skills Challenge. 9.398 is the score to beat. El Toro Loco making that turn. We know what is coming next. It's the Morgan and Morgan backflip. Armando Castro calculated onto the ramp. Keeps the wheels going, tried for a moonwalk, clips the container, and that is gonna do it. Again, slowing him down. You can't hit the container or you're done. Here's the original Super Glue glued to the action replay.
Little bit of chaos and cross-threading going on right here. You can watch Armando Castro. Look at how he gets the front wheels turned. He hits the throttle super hard. That's going to rotate him back onto all 4 BKTs. I've seen a lot of turning going on before this backflip. He definitely wasn't feeling it. It wasn't perfect, and he lands on the container.
8.735 is the score for Armando Castro. That brings us the former Monster Jam Rookie of the Year, Bari Musauer in Zombie. We saw the all-hands-on-deck situation at halftime with an update on Bari and Team Zombie. Let's bring our pit reporter Leslie Mears back in.
Bari Musauer sat in crew seating for most of freestyle, and after Camden Murphy's run, he was up cheering. He goes, "That's That's what I needed out here. He knows that he's going to need some help to gain some points back on Tyler Menega in Gravedigger. He said, I know once I get in the truck, I can do my part. I just need some other people to go out there and be spectacular and put some space between us.
Thank you, Leslie. Not a bad philosophy there. We call Bari Mr. Consistency, always being up near the top of the leaderboard. Tonight, the most inconsistent event of the season. He has finished 6th and 5th in the 2 competitions. What is going on with Bari? What is going on with Zombie? And how can you right that ship here today?
Well, one of the big things, it's not so much what's going on with Bari, it's that Tyler is just absolutely on fire in this stadium. And when you have a driver that is unstoppable in a stadium, it's hard to compete, and it gets very frustrating for Bari Musauer. Tonight, that's what he needs to do. He needs to come out, try to salvage as many points as he can. He's not going to beat Tyler, and he knows that in this stadium. But what he can do is cheer for the other drivers, try to get some drivers in between him and Tyler, push him back in that point standings so that way he can make up as many points as he can.
Here comes Bari Musauer. Zombie to the Morgan backflip ram. Zombie goes up. Look at the rotation. Brake check. Beautiful landing. He's got a lot of room, and he's got some time left to go. 5 freestyle wins on the season. 6 event championships on the season, and it's runs like this that got him there.
Wow, veteran execution on that backflip. He was perfectly straight, great rotation, lands a little heavy on the rear, but that's what Bari wanted in this situation. He has the momentum. This is a solid freestyle. He's gonna fill the time, and a huge air right here at the end.
Keeps the wheels going here, lands on the side, a little wobbly. He's able to correct the truck though, get the balance regained. And continue on here. Now Zombie goes back up over the side of the tabletop. Time is winding down. That'll do it. The original super glue. Glued to the action replay.
Bari has truly had one of the best trucks all season long. You can see the way the suspension is reacting, the way that the rear shocks soak up that backflip. And then watch right here, there's a huge air. And normally on any of the other trucks, you're gonna get a huge kick that's just gonna put you on your lid from that jump. But he is able to keep it under control. The crew chief has the truck dialed, and Bari's on top of it as well.
8.896 is the score for Bari Musauer. We're gonna check out our current freestyle leaderboard. Camden Murphy has the lead, 9.398. Axe in second, Zombie in third, El Toro Loco in fourth, and Avenger currently in 5th place. The event championship is down to 2. Will it be Camden Murphy or Tyler Menega? Find out with the conclusion of freestyle next on Primetime. We are back in Indianapolis. It's round 19. It's the conclusion of freestyle here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Up next out of Houston, Texas is 2-time World Finals champion Colt Stevens piloting Thunderosaurus. Out of the broadcast booth, the championship gold at the top of the podium. Colt Stevens has continued to hit wow moment after wow moment. He's got that wow factor. He's got everything as a 2-time World Finals champion. On his strategy and freestyle, we go to Leslie.
To take his freestyle to the next level, Colt Stevens told me he's going to go out here and hit everything crooked. That's kind of counterintuitive to what you want to do as a driver. You really want to swing around, square up, and hit those jumps nice and square. But he said when you hit them crooked, it makes everything go wild, and the truck just looks kind of crazy and gets some neat angles that are going to really impress these fans out here. He said that's what you got to do, especially when you had the runs that we've had tonight, guys. It's been wild.
Absolutely, Leslie, a wild freestyle competition. Now that strategy though, Adam, we see most drivers that want to do that strategy save it for the final 30 seconds of their run. You want to hit the jump straight on to get the score, get the qualifications down to make sure you meet that criteria. But then 30 seconds left, you hit the backflip. It is all hands on deck. It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but for Colt Stevens, it just seems like he can do anything he wants. And to me, Scott, that is confidence in his truck. That's confidence in his driving ability. There is a huge risk factor, like you talked about, though. If you go out in the first 30 seconds and you flop, you're not going to get the score.
Well, he might get the score here with a backflip. Morgan backflip. Thunderosaurus, the biggest backflip of the night. And he's able to land it. Hits the brakes. Here comes Colt Stevens. This is a wow moment all over it. He gets that jump, goes right into the jammer to the side of it, and is able to avoid chaos and disaster.
Wow, Colt Stevens getting lucky right there. The jammer was in the perfect spot. Talk about some driving skill, and another huge air onto the floor. Let's see if he can get lucky again. He slows it down. Colt Stevens is on top of it.
Right back to the well. Now he's on top of that log stack there. He gets right up on over. See a lot of smoke coming out of Thunderosaurus as he tries to power this transmission through. And here is chaos mode. He goes all the way through to the side, trying to roll the truck, and the truck says, I'm not rolling tonight, buddy. I'm on all 4 BKTs. And here's the original Super Glue to the action replay.
This could be a winning run. Colt Stevens, great execution on the backflip, lands on all 4 BKTs and then hits the brakes, stays away from the container, and then you can see the huge air onto the floor right here. Catch the bounce, watch it grab that jammer. That right front tire just picks him up just enough, throws a little throttle in there, and then chaos here at the end, turns into it, knows this Indianapolis dirt's gonna grab those tacky BKTs, rolls on all 4s. Colt Stevens on fire.
9.076, not enough to take the lead. That still belongs to Classroom Crusher. It's our final competitor, Tyler Menninga. Gravedigger, he's the current overall event leader. He needs to finish no worse than 2nd here tonight to win the overall event championship.
Tyler Menninga definitely in a high-pressure situation right now. Championship points are on the line. He's been red hot in Indianapolis in the past. He's red hot tonight. Tyler Menninga could make the moment right now.
3 freestyle wins on the season, 4 overall event championships in his career. He has 3 freestyle wins at Lucas Oil Stadium. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, 5 overall event championships here, 1 freestyle in the event last round in round 18. So Tyler Menninga knows what's at stake. He also knows those series points are at stake as he tries to chip away at Barry Musauer's lead and get back on top of the leaderboard.
Little bit of a kick there from Tyler Menninga's rear end, not handling exactly like he wants it to. Rear steer looks like it's working, so all green light for Gravedigger right now. I like the amount of momentum that Tyler Menninga has, swinging and slinging that truck around this freestyle floor.
Great approach so far to freestyle for Tyler Menninga. He seems to have planned a lot of these jumps out, hitting them in the center, making his mark, knowing where he's at. Great track awareness, a big air for Tyler Menninga, end over end. Gets a slap wheelie bounce, and Gravedigger will continue.
Nice figure 8 pattern for Tyler so far. He has the momentum, but not the big air.
Morgan backflip for Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga flips the truck over into a moonwalk, a modified moonwalk. Not much there, but he's able to get it, has to back up again. And not sure what is next for Tyler Menninga, trying to win the overall event championship as he slows down and backs up Gravedigger.
Here's the 1-2 punch for a huge air.
Big top sky wheelie for Tyler Menninga. And Gravedigger absolutely shredded on the back end. And Gravedigger up on the car stack, looking supreme tonight. Here's the original Super Glue to the action replay.
You can see the backflip, great execution, a little heavy, but also gets the combination move as well. And then this huge air, say goodbye to the 3rd.
9.027 for Tyler Menninga, not going to get the freestyle win. Here is your freestyle top 5. Classroom Crusher gets the win. Axe in 2nd, Thunderosaurus in 3rd, Gravedigger in 4th, Zombie in 5th, and what has been one of the best freestyle competitions of the entire 2025 season. So now with freestyle in the books, we can take a look at our final BKT overall point standings for round 19. Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher with 34 will get the win. Gravedigger finishes in 2nd, 1 point off. El Toro Loco finishes in 3rd with 27. Zombie in 4th with 23. And Avenger, 19 points, finishing in 5th. For Camden, it's a 2nd freestyle win, 3rd event championship. Now let's join Leslie and our champion, Camden Murphy.
Guys, that was crazy. I don't even know. So you go out 3rd. You throw down this absolute burner out there, and then people just keep coming for you. What were you thinking as you were sitting up there waiting, Camden?
You know, this tour is no joke. Every single week, every single one of these drivers puts out their best every single week. So I knew this year was going to be tough, especially having a brand new truck, Classroom Crusher, trying to put this truck on the map. So, man, I've had an absolute blast. Indianapolis, you guys are awesome. This is like a hometown event for me. But, man, my man Shane, all these UNOH technicians out here work so hard to make sure this truck's ready to rock and roll. And, man, it feels so good to come out on top after all those runs. Take the overall event championship. It's even sweeter.
Thank you, Leslie. It's a hometown track for Camden Murphy. His parents are in the building to see him win this event championship at Classroom Crusher, taking everybody to school once again and proving that Camden Murphy is still very much a serious contender.
Yeah, I love what I saw from Camden Murphy tonight. It's truly unbelievable. If he can get a couple more wins and carry that momentum, we could see a lethal Classroom Crusher at World Finals.
This point series will resume in New Orleans, and we are headed to the Pacific Northwest for round 20 in Seattle with Stadium Championship Series West. We hope to see you there. For Adam Entignap and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right here next time on Monster Jam Primetime.